IHE-Europe is specifically focused on coordinating the efforts of IHE's deployment committees, IHE France, IHE Germany, IHE Swiss, on behalf of the work that the European Commission is doing. So IHE-Europe is an umbrella deployment committee. All IHE deployment committees are focused on the uptake of the IHE profiles, the technical specifications that speak to how interoperability is to be done. IHE-Europe's specific role is to say, how will these technical specifications serve the agenda of the European Commission? Briefly, the IHE methodology rests on three key pillars. The three pillars are that there is a definition, a normative definition for how we develop implementable specifications. There's then an expectation that that specification can be realized in a testing platform. And then importantly, the third pillar is that that same testing platform can be leveraged as an instrument of governance in the hands of a Ministry of Health or somebody who's in charge of a particular care delivery network. More specifically, getting into the elements of the first pillar, there are 4 volumes to an IHE specification. Volume 1, as you would expect it to be, is answering the question, what is this specification for? And here's where you would get a description of the use cases that it's intended to solve. It's also where a non-technical description is made of the overall specification for a reader who does not have an engineering degree, for example. In Volume 2 of an IHE profile, we have a description, a normative description, a testable description of the transaction processing that is undertaken. And in Volume 3 is, again, a normative description of the content that's exchanged between parties that are participating in the interoperable data exchange. Volume 4 plays a really essential role in terms of governance. All IHE profiles are global public goods. Taken up and used in Canada or in France or in Switzerland, you might have to do some contextualizations for that particular jurisdiction, and those contextualizations are reflected in Volume 4. I've done a lot of work actually in low and middle income countries, and over the course of the last 15 years, one of the things that I've found very rewarding is that the work that I've been involved in with IHE domain committees such as the Quality Research and Public Health Committee or the IT Infrastructure Committee has been taken up pretty significantly by low and middle income countries. So I don't think that very many people realize this, but the national norms and standards of South Africa are entirely expressed using IHE profiles. IHE profiles were leveraged in Rwanda for a maternal care project there. There is a project undertaken by the World Bank to develop a digital health blueprint toolkit for the 150 countries that aren't in the OECD. All of them will be doing national scale digital health infrastructure projects over the coming 10 years. The toolkit that World Bank has developed entirely expresses FHIR-based health information exchange infrastructure in terms of IHE profiles. The specifications that IHE's domain committees develop, they create huge value. They are implementable, conformance testable specifications of how a portfolio of standards are going to be used to address a particular problem. But IHE also has, on the flip side, the other pillars of the IHE methodology relate to value capture, and that is where a specification goes to scale. For IHE, scale is the innovation. And in fact, the specifications point to how we're going to be able to take standards-based interoperable data exchange to the length and breadth of an entire care delivery network. And for that reason, IHE is sustainable because it's at the very point where we go from value creation to value capture. We're at the very point where commercial products that are adherent to our specifications have a market. And then most importantly, and in fulfillment of IHE's mission, it's how the exchange of health information is actually going to have an impact on population health.